Despite being blind, James had noticed the change in Bella's behavior. The dog was no longer guiding him like she used to. It was as if she was trying to protect him. And when James learned the reason behind this strange behavior, his perspective on Bella would change forever. 78-year-old James Mitchell had been blind for 15 years. Diabetes complications had gradually taken away his sight. But for the past 5 years, thanks to Bella, he had been living an independent life. Bella was a 6-year-old golden Labrador retriever. She had received professional guide dog training and had become James's eyes. The duo was in perfect harmony. "Good morning, beautiful girl," James would say every morning while stroking Bella's head. "Ready for adventure today?" Bella would wag her tail and bring her harness. They had their daily routine: morning walk, grocery shopping, resting in the park, evening stroll. James's only living relative was his niece Sarah. She would visit once a week. "Uncle, how are you? Is Bella taking good care of you?" Sarah would say. "She's my angel," James would say. "I don't know what I'd do without her." Bella truly was a perfect guide dog. She knew traffic lights, showed obstacles, and safely took James everywhere. But lately, something was changing. James's health wasn't ideal either. Diabetes, high blood pressure, old age. He had regular doctor checkups, but lately he had been feeling more tired. "It's old age," James thought. "But Bella's here, she protects me." And Bella really was starting to protect him. But James didn't yet know what this meant. The partnership between James and Bella had developed over 5 years into something extraordinary. What began as a standard guide dog placement had evolved into a bond that transcended typical human-animal relationships. James had initially been skeptical about getting a guide dog. After losing his sight, he had become increasingly isolated, relying on his niece Sarah for most activities. The thought of depending on an animal seemed daunting. But Bella had changed everything. Her gentle nature, combined with exceptional training, had given James back his independence. She navigated crowded sidewalks with precision, stopped at every curb, and seemed to anticipate his needs before he even expressed them. Their daily walks had become the highlight of James's routine. Through Bella's guidance, he had rediscovered his neighborhood, formed relationships with shopkeepers, and regained confidence in moving through the world. The first thing he noticed was the change in Bella's walking pace. The dog, who normally walked with determined steps, had been going slower lately. As if she didn't want to tire James. "Bella, why are you walking so slowly?" James asked one morning. But Bella just rested her head against James's leg. The second change was Bella constantly listening to James. Guide dogs already followed their owners carefully, but what Bella was doing was different. She was listening to James's breathing, monitoring his heartbeat. "You're acting very strange, Bella," James said, stroking the dog's head. The third change was the strangest of all. Bella was refusing to take James to certain places. Especially stairs and long distances. "Bella, we need to go to the grocery store," James said. But Bella didn't move. She sat next to James and refused to move. "Why are you being stubborn?" James asked. But the dog knew something. Bella was also constantly sniffing James's left arm. And each time, she made worried sounds. The behavioral changes were subtle at first, but became increasingly obvious to James. Bella's professional training had always emphasized consistency, the same routes, the same pace, the same responses to commands. But now, her protective instincts were overriding her training protocols. She would stop suddenly during walks, not because of obstacles, but as if sensing something James couldn't perceive. The most concerning change was Bella's reluctance to leave James alone, even for short periods. Previously, she would rest in her designated spot while James worked on tasks that didn't require guidance. Now, she maintained constant physical contact, often placing herself between James and doorways. James's initial frustration at these changes gradually gave way to curiosity. In 15 years of blindness, he had learned to trust his other senses completely. And those senses were telling him that Bella was responding to something real, something important that he was missing. The day of James's regular doctor checkup had arrived. Dr. Patricia Williams was an experienced cardiologist who had been treating James for 10 years. "How are you, James? How are you feeling?" asked Dr. Williams. "I'm fine, doctor. Just Bella's acting strange. It's like she's trying to protect me." "How so?" "She's walking slowly, doesn't want to go to distant places. And she keeps sniffing my left arm." Dr. Williams found this situation interesting. Pets can sometimes sense health problems in their owners. After the routine examination, Dr. Williams became concerned. James's blood pressure was high, his heart rhythm was irregular. "James, let's do an EKG," the doctor said. The results were unexpected. There was irregularity in James's heart. He was showing signs of arrhythmia. "Is this serious, doctor?" James asked. "We need to monitor it. I'll prescribe medication. And if symptoms increase, you must come to the hospital immediately." When James returned home, Bella greeted him. The dog sniffed James and seemed relieved. "You knew we needed to go to the doctor, didn't you?" James asked. Bella wagged her tail. The medical consultation confirmed what James had begun to suspect: Bella's behavioral changes weren't random. Dr. Williams's explanation about pets sensing health problems resonated with James's own observations. During the examination, Dr. Williams had been particularly thorough, asking detailed questions about James's energy levels, sleep patterns, and any unusual sensations. James realized that many of the symptoms the doctor inquired about, fatigue, shortness of breath, occasional chest discomfort, had indeed been present, but so gradually that he had attributed them to normal aging. The prescription for heart medication came with strict instructions about monitoring symptoms and seeking immediate care if conditions worsened. As James left the medical office, he reflected on how Bella's protective behavior now made perfect sense. The dog's enhanced senses had detected changes in his cardiovascular system long before medical equipment could measure them. Her reluctance to exert him, her constant monitoring of his breathing and heart rate, her insistence on staying close, all of it had been early warning behavior. That night, while James slept, Bella kept watch beside him. The dog was listening to James's breathing, monitoring his heartbeat. At midnight, James's heart rhythm became disturbed. Bella immediately stood up and tried to wake James. "What's wrong, Bella? Why are you waking me up?" But Bella insisted. She was pulling James's hand, trying to get him out of bed. Okay, I'm getting up," James said. Bella led James to the kitchen and sat next to the phone. "Phone? Who am I going to call in the middle of the night?" But James felt a pain. A severe pain in his left arm. Then tightness in his chest. "My God," James whispered. "Heart attack." Bella was already next to the phone. James dialed the emergency number he had trained for. 911, emergency. "I'm having a heart attack," James said breathlessly. The ambulance arrived in 10 minutes. Bella never left James alone. The night watch incident would later be recognized as the critical moment that saved James's life. Medical experts would marvel at Bella's ability to detect the onset of cardiac distress before James himself was aware of the severity of his condition. During the emergency response, paramedics noted that Bella's behavior provided valuable information about the timeline of James's cardiac event. Her alert positioning and the precise moment she had awakened James helped medical professionals understand how long the heart attack had been developing. The emergency medical technicians were particularly impressed by Bella's training and presence of mind. Rather than becoming agitated or interfering with their work, she maintained a protective but cooperative stance, allowing them full access to James while positioning herself where she could monitor the situation. As the ambulance departed for the hospital, Bella's vigil began. She would remain at that exact spot by the front door until James returned, refusing food and comfort from well-meaning neighbors who tried to help. At the hospital, James was taken to intensive care. He really was having a heart attack. But thanks to early intervention, there wasn't major damage. "You're very lucky," said Dr. Williams. "If you had come 30 minutes later." James's mind was on Bella. "My dog, who's taking care of her?" "Your niece Sarah came. Bella is waiting for you in the hospital garden." James was moved. "She saved my life." "How so?" "She woke me up. She led me to the phone. It's like she knew about my heart attack beforehand." Dr. Williams was amazed. "This is very interesting. Some dogs can sense heart attacks in advance." "How?" "Their sense of smell is very developed. They can detect chemical changes in the body." James now understood Bella's strange behavior over the past weeks. The dog had sensed his heart attack in advance and tried to protect him. "Bella is a hero," James said with tears. The hospital stay provided James with time to reflect on the magnitude of what had occurred. Medical staff shared remarkable stories of other animals that had detected medical emergencies, but few cases were as clear-cut and life-saving as Bella's intervention. Dr. Williams explained that dogs possessed olfactory capabilities far beyond human comprehension. Their ability to detect minute chemical changes associated with cardiac distress, diabetic episodes, and even certain types of cancer had been documented in medical literature. But Bella's case was particularly noteworthy because of the sustained nature of her behavioral changes. Rather than a single dramatic intervention, she had been monitoring and protecting James for weeks, gradually adjusting her guidance patterns to accommodate his declining cardiac function. The hospital's cardiology team was fascinated by the timeline Bella had provided. Her behavioral changes correlated perfectly with the gradual development of James's cardiac condition, suggesting that her detection abilities were not just acute but also predictive. 3 days later, James was discharged from the hospital. Bella was waiting for him at the hospital entrance. "Bella!" James called out. The dog wagged her tail frantically and ran to James. Both were crying. "You saved my life," James said while hugging Bella. "Now you're not just my guide dog. You're my guardian angel." Bella licked James's face. As if saying, "I'm always with you." At home, James was welcomed by his niece Sarah. "Uncle, Bella is an incredible dog. After taking you to the hospital, she never left the door. She's a special dog," James said. "And now I'll value her even more." James now knew that Bella wasn't just his eyes. She was also his heart, his protector. The reunion marked a new chapter in their relationship. What had begun as a standard guide dog placement had evolved into something unprecedented, a medical alert partnership that combined traditional mobility assistance with life-saving health monitoring. Sarah had documented Bella's vigil during James's hospitalization. The dog had refused to enter the house, maintaining her post by the front door despite neighbors' attempts to coax her inside. She had accepted minimal food and water, clearly waiting for James's return. The emotional intensity of their reunion was witnessed by hospital staff, who later described it as one of the most touching scenes they had observed. Bella's relief was palpable as she carefully inspected James, ensuring he was truly well before finally relaxing her guard. Dr. Williams had provided detailed instructions for James's recovery, but it became clear that Bella would be his most vigilant caregiver. Her ability to monitor his condition would prove invaluable during the critical weeks ahead. After returning from the hospital, James and Bella's routine changed. Now they were more careful. Bella continuously monitored James's heart rhythm. She would alert James at the slightest change. "Bella has superpowers," Sarah said during her visit. "How did she know about the heart attack beforehand?" "Dog's sense of smell is 10,000 times stronger than ours," James said. "She detected the chemical changes in my body." But what Bella did was more than that. She was protecting James. James now did his daily activities under Bella's guidance. The dog wouldn't let him get tired. "Slow down, Bella, "I'm not in a hurry," James would say. But Bella was already adjusting the appropriate pace for him. Most importantly, James now took his medications regularly. Bella reminded him. "Medication time," James would say. And Bella would bring the pill box. The new routine represented a fundamental shift in their partnership dynamics. Previously, James had been the decision-maker, with Bella following his commands and guidance requests. Now, Bella had assumed a more active role in determining their daily activities. Her medication reminders became legendary among James's medical team. Bella had learned to associate specific times of day with James's cardiac medications, bringing the pill organizer at precisely the right moments. The dog's ability to gauge James's energy levels and adjust their activities accordingly impressed everyone who observed them. On days when James felt stronger, Bella would allow longer walks and more ambitious outings. When his cardiac function was compromised, she would insist on rest and shorter routes. Dr. Williams began incorporating Bella's observations into James's medical assessments. The dog's behavioral cues often provided more accurate information about James's daily cardiac function than traditional monitoring equipment. Dr. Williams shared James's case with her colleagues. Bella's ability to sense the heart attack in advance attracted the attention of the medical community. "How did this dog know?" doctors were asking. "Dogs can detect chemical changes," Dr. Williams explained. "Certain hormones are released in the body before a heart attack." Veterinarian Dr. Emma Foster wanted to examine Bella. "This dog is different from a normal guide dog," said Dr. Foster. "She has medical detection ability." James was proud. "Bella is not only my eyes, but now also my medical consultant." Bella's story made it to local press. News was made with the headline, "Guide Dog Sensed Owner's Heart Attack in Advance." But media attention wasn't important to James. What mattered was Bella's love. The medical community's interest in Bella opened doors to research opportunities that neither James nor the veterinary team had anticipated. Cardiologists from teaching hospitals requested permission to study Bella's detection methods. Dr. Foster arranged for Bella to undergo comprehensive testing to understand the mechanisms behind her abilities. The results revealed that her olfactory sensitivity was exceptional even by canine standards. Research teams discovered that Bella could detect cardiac stress markers in breath samples, skin secretions, and even in clothing that had been worn by cardiac patients. Her accuracy rate in controlled testing exceeded 90%. The implications extended far beyond James's individual case. If Bella's abilities could be understood and replicated in other dogs, early cardiac detection could revolutionize preventive medicine for high-risk patients. Dr. Foster began researching Bella's abilities. The dog really could detect heart patients. "I want to put Bella in a special training program," said Dr. Foster. "What kind of training?" James asked. "Medical detection training. We can teach other dogs to sense heart patients." James thought about it. Bella's ability could help others too. "But she won't leave James," Sarah said. "She doesn't have to leave. She can work part-time." James agreed. Bella would work at the hospital 2 days a week, mentoring other dogs. "You'll help others too, Bella," James said. "Because you're a special dog." Bella wagged her tail, as if showing she understood. The training program represented a pioneering effort in medical detection dog development. Bella's natural abilities would serve as the foundation for a systematic approach to training other dogs in cardiac detection. Dr. Foster assembled a team that included cardiologists, veterinary behaviorists, and professional dog trainers. The goal was to understand exactly how Bella detected cardiac distress and develop training protocols that could replicate these abilities. The program attracted funding from medical research foundations interested in non-invasive early detection methods. Bella would become the lead instructor, demonstrating detection techniques to carefully selected candidate dogs. James felt proud that Bella's remarkable gift would benefit others facing similar cardiac risks. The program represented a legacy that would extend far beyond their personal partnership. Bella's teaching career began. At the hospital, she taught young dogs to sense heart patients. "Bella is a perfect teacher," said Dr. Foster. Other dogs follow her. James was proud too. Bella wasn't just protecting him, now she was protecting others. The program achieved great success. 3 dogs trained by Bella learned to detect heart patients. "This is revolutionary," said Dr. Williams. Early diagnosis with dogs. Media attention increased. Bella appeared on national television. But she always stayed by James's side. "You're famous now, Bella," James said. "But for me, you're still the same Bella." Bella rested her head on James's hand. She was thinking the same thing. The teaching program exceeded all expectations. Bella demonstrated an intuitive understanding of how to communicate detection techniques to other dogs. Her methods were gentle but precise, showing candidate dogs exactly what chemical signatures to identify. The 3 successfully trained dogs were placed with high-risk cardiac patients, replicating the life-saving partnership that James and Bella had developed. Each placement was carefully monitored, with remarkable success rates in early detection. National media coverage brought attention not only to Bella's story but to the broader potential of medical detection dogs. Research institutions began developing similar programs for other conditions, inspired by the success of the Cardiac Detection Initiative. James became an advocate for the program, sharing his story at medical conferences and patient support groups. His testimony about Bella's life-saving abilities helped secure additional funding and support for expansion. Bella's story became a source of hope not only for heart patients but for all disabled people. "Pets are not just companions," said disability rights activist Maria Santos. "They are lifesavers." James began giving talks at disability organizations. "Bella gave me a second life," he would say. "And not just me, but many people." Bella's training program expanded. Now 20 dogs were receiving medical detection training. The Bella effect, this situation was called. The discovery of dogs' medical abilities. James was no longer just a blind man. He was a pioneer in medical dog training. "Who would have thought I'd start a new career at 78, James said with a smile. Bella sat beside him, watching proudly. The societal impact extended beyond medical applications. Bella's story had changed public perceptions about the capabilities of assistance animals and the profound bonds possible between humans and dogs. Disability advocacy groups embraced Bella's story as evidence of the untapped potential in human-animal partnerships. Her success challenged traditional limitations placed on assistance animals and opened discussions about expanding their roles. The program influenced legislation regarding service animal access and recognition. Bella's medical detection work helped establish new categories of assistance animals in legal frameworks. Educational institutions began incorporating Bella's story into curricula for veterinary medicine, disability studies, and even medical schools, highlighting the importance of considering non-traditional diagnostic approaches. 2 years had passed. James was now 80 years old, but thanks to Bella, he was healthier. His heart problem was under control. Bella had turned 8, but she was still energetic. She was both guiding James and teaching at the hospital. "You're my greatest gift, Bella," James would say every evening while stroking the dog's head. The dogs Bella had trained were now spread across the country. They had provided early diagnosis for dozens of heart patients. "Bella's legacy," said Dr. Foster. "She's not just a dog, but a hero who made medical history." James and Bella's routine continued. Morning walk every day, hospital every week, television every evening. "You are my eyes, my heart, my reason for living," James would say. Bella would wag her tail. She felt the same things for James. In the evenings when they sat in the garden, James would listen to Bella's breathing. "You're getting older too, Bella. But I'll protect you forever." Bella rested her head on James's hand. They both knew that this bond wouldn't be broken even by death. They weren't just guide and dog. They were soulmates. And friendship between souls was eternal. James would never forget the day Bella saved his life. The dog had given him a second chance. "Thank you, Bella," he would whisper. "Without you, I wouldn't be here." Bella would close her eyes and breathe peacefully. Their story continued. And they would save many more lives. Together. The partnership had evolved into something that transcended typical human-animal relationships. What began as mobility assistance had become a comprehensive support system encompassing medical monitoring, emotional companionship, and professional collaboration. Their daily routine had become a meditation on interdependence and mutual care. James provided Bella with purpose, direction, and unconditional love. Bella provided James with independence, protection, and a reason to engage with the world. The legacy of their partnership extended through every dog Bella had trained, every life saved by early cardiac detection, and every person inspired by their story of resilience and hope. As they aged together, both understood that their bond represented something rare and precious, a connection that had transformed challenges into opportunities, limitations into innovations, and individual needs into community benefits. Their story would continue to inspire future generations of assistance animal partnerships, proving that the most profound healing often came through the simple act of two beings caring for each other with complete dedication and trust. James and Bella's story shows us that our animals can be not only companions but also lifesavers. Bella's protection of James once again proves how special and valuable guide dogs are. This story also shows that we can live a meaningful life even in old age, that our beloved friends can give us second chances, and that no age is too late for new beginnings. If this touching story has also touched your heart, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Because in the magical world of animals, many more encouraging and hopeful stories await you. Share your experiences with us in the comments. Have your pets ever given you a life-saving touch? Until we meet in the next video. Because the most beautiful friendships are the ones that make life meaningful.